NBL TV. See it live. Every match of the season, all the action as it happens. Full match replays and highlights when and where you want. On your PC, iPad, iPhone. With monthly and yearly packages, we have a subscription to suit you. NBL TV. See it live.
Hello everyone and welcome to It Goes Off. It's ticket off time after round 4 of the NBL, Grantley. Plenty going on, but we're going to start off with a little bit of international hoops, and Brett Brown this week announcing his resignation from the Boomers.
He did, and I guess the guts of it was that after his 4-year stint, it's time to really devote some more time to family back in the States. Of course, he's an assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs, who, the Spurs always gave their blessing to Brett being in the Boomers' job, but I guess he feels now it's really time to be available 100% year-round for the San Antonio Spurs, unless, of course, the people in charge of Basketball Australia gave him showed him the door. Did you do that?
No, definitely not. I think he did an outstanding job, guided the Boomers through a period where they finished 7th at the Olympic Games that have just gone by in London, and beat the team that finished in the bronze medal, that won the bronze medal, that is Russia. And I think when you look at the way they played, it was a great performance by the coaching staff. Andre Lamanis, Marty Clark, they all contributed along the way, but Brett Brown is going to be missed, I would expect, given the direction the program is heading, and it's now time for Basketball Australia to figure out who is going to take over from here.
So who is going to be next? You talked about Andre Lamanis, you talked about Marty Clark as members of the coaching staff. Is there an automatic succession plan? Is it going to be advertised? Is it going to be headhunting done? How's it going to be handled?
I think a combination of all that. I think both Marty Clark and Andre Lamanis would be very strong candidates because they have the experience, and I think that the direction the program was heading under the guidance of Brett Brown is one that most people said is heading in the right direction. So they would be very good candidates to continue on with that. But you've also got, I think, to open it up to all applicants, and that would include international applicants as well. I think you've also got guys that they might want to headhunt. Brian Gorgian, who's been the coach before, is doing some great things and has done some great things in the past, now coaching in China. So you would expect there's going to be a lot of candidates.
There's always a lot of conjecture about what do we need from the national coach. Now, in reality, the Boomers coach only needs to actually coach hands-on for 1 month a year.
Oh, a bit more than that.
The way the international window works nowadays, it's a month, top 6 weeks.
No, a little bit more than that.
Okay.
I'd say a couple of months.
So is there an argument to be made that maybe Basketball Australia now looks at someone like, as an example, because he's in the job right now, a guy like Ian Stacker, who oversees the IES program, he's in the junior program, so that someone oversees the whole men's national program, top to bottom?
Well, it's going to be something that they're going to have to look at, and fortunately there's some very good candidates out there. So over the next couple of months you'd think that they go through the process of appointing both a coach for the Opals and the Boomers, which are pretty important positions within the basketball landscape in Australia. Grantley, the All-Star game, NBL All-Star game, is back. It's going to be on the 22nd of December, and it's going to be in Adelaide. The fans get to vote. Who are some of your early candidates of who you're liking that you're going to expect in this particular game?
Well, I think if you look at it from a fan's point of view, I think probably Corin Henry is going to pick up a lot of votes because he's a little buzzsaw and he's become a fan favourite very quickly. I think Seth Scott from the Tigers is probably going to be looking pretty good. So there's, say, a couple of imports.
Kevin Lish.
Probably Lish will get a look in. I think from an Australian point of view, and I think Ben Madgen from the Kings has been fantastic in his past 3, especially. He's looking really good. So I'd say off the top of the head, they're the guys that I expect will probably pick up a lot of votes early on.
And the fans are going to be determining who are going to be the starters, similar to what they have in the NBA. So jump on the NBL website and cast your votes because you have a say in who's going to feature in that game. The regular features, the three-point shootout, is going to be back on board. Also the slam dunk contest. So plenty going on during All-Star weekend, a lot of fun, and it's the 22nd of December, and it's going to be in Adelaide. So Adelaide people, get out there and buy your tickets because it's going to be a cracking event. In fact, people around the country, it's worth an airfare. Jump on a Virgin Australia flight and get down to Adelaide because there's going to be plenty of good things happening.
NBL.com.au/All-Stars, and I believe possibly I know the league officers looking at this, there could be a little one-on-one contest between Brett Maher and Alex Loughton, just to see who can get the hair dye.
Can I join in that competition?
You are going to need a barrel just to get your head in.
Grantley, another issue that we need to touch on is the form of the Wollongong Hawks. They have been absolutely sensational to start the season, 4-0, and their first 3 good wins, but they took on the road some quality opposition last Sunday against the Adelaide 36ers, and the way in which they finished off the game, outscoring the 36ers in Adelaide 30-14, just a fantastic performance by the team, and Gordy McLeod needs a lot of credit for what's going on because he hasn't really changed a whole lot from last season. They've got the 2 import guards now with Lance Hurdle and, of course, Adris De Leon. They've been very, very good.
They have been very good, and like you say, full credit to the Hawks. And, look, you can, I guess, mix it any way you like, but, 4-0 is 4-0, and, as people like to say, the ladder is what the ladder is.
Yep.
And right now, they're second at 4-0, behind the Wildcats at 3-0, which I know you have a big problem with. But anyway, the Hawks have done a great job. And that fourth quarter in Adelaide shows you what they've got. I do recall when Brendan Joyce was coaching the Hawks, and Damon Lowry made some killer free throws. And, and Brendan made the point in the TV interview later on, was how big was Damon Lowry's heart? Well, the Hawks have shown that kind of heart for that win on Sunday in Adelaide.
And they've got a lot of unsung heroes in their team as well. Dave Gruber, I thought, was sensational against the Adelaide 36ers. 11 rebounds, had the 8 points, 3 of 4 from the field. Doesn't play beyond his abilities, and that undersized big man inside, I thought he did an exceptional job. So they're getting the best out of their squad, and it's great to see a little bit of swagger going on too. Adris De Leon, just when he started to get going in that last quarter, had that swagger about him, which we love to see some of the players out there showing a bit of emotion.
And look, I think you just need a little bit of that, because I guess, maybe a lot of people see what the Hawks had, they might say it's a bit vanilla, but he gives it that little bit of curry, doesn't he, and a bit of flavour and a little bit of giddy up, and, he comes in, he can light up a game, he can take charge of it. That's what you want.
And Adelaide got off to a cracking start in this one. They led it 13-2, I think, at one stage. And do you sense any nervousness amongst the Adelaide folk out there?
Look, I think probably after the last couple of years, the Adelaide people are always going to be a little toey, aren't they? But look, you've got to take it on balance.
Yep.
They've had a decent start, and they've got a good roster, a bit of an overhauled roster, and I think Adelaide is still going to be around the mark come the end of the season.
Well, good luck to the Adelaide 36ers, and well done to the Wollongong Hawks after a fantastic start to the season. Now, we need you to join in the conversation, so we asked the good folk to respond to us with any questions they might have via the Twitter, Grantley Bernard or Andrew Gaze 10, or go onto the NBL Facebook page, and we've got some fantastic prizes up for grabs. In particular, a 12-month subscription or a season subscription to NBL TV. What a revelation this has been. You get to see every single game on your tablet, on your computer, on your phone. It is sensational. So it's a great offering out there. If you haven't subscribed, we really do encourage you to get out there and purchase one of these things, because they are fantastic. But for some good person, they're actually going to pick up a subscription for free. And off the Twitter page, we've got some, or the Facebook, I should say, we've got some questions. The first one comes from Josh Carroll, and he asked, has Ben Madgen improved a lot this year for the Kings, and should he play in the All-Star game?
I think in terms of improvement, I don't know that he's improved a lot, because Ben Madgen's always been a very good player.
Yes.
And we saw that last year. I think Ben Madgen, full stop, is a very good player. And should he be in the All-Star game? Yes. He's one of the first guys I'm picking. He's averaging 18.6 at 51.5. And his past 3 games have been 26, 23 and 22. So if you want to talk about quality and quality for an All-Star game,
Yep.
Ben Madgen,
Tick it off, Ben
Tick it
Madgen.
off.
I couldn't agree more. He's been one of the major reasons why the Sydney Kings have got off to a pretty good start and picked up 2 sensational road wins in that Northern Queensland double against Townsville and Cairns last weekend. Another question comes from Dave Riddle. Do you think the Crocs would have been better with the 2 imports they sacked before the season started rather than Gary Irvin, former league MVP, and Larry Abney, another former NBL All-Star, first team All-Star selection?
Look, I think it's a tough one because obviously everyone's got 20/20 hindsight. The Crocs made the choice at the time, having seen their 2 imports that they sent home. Gary Irvin is a proven performer in the NBL from only 2 seasons ago. And right now he's averaging 13.5 points and 4.5 assists, which compare to his MVP numbers, which were 20.1 and 4.5 assists. So he's basically 8 points a game down on his scoring from what he was when he won the MVP. Early days. It's only, it's 4 shots, 3 3-pointers, however you want to carve it up. The offense could be a little better. His minutes could be different. But I would bank on Gary Irvin increasing that scoring average as the season goes on. Larry Abney, however, is he's struggling.
Well, he's 35 years of age, and I didn't see the first. I saw very, very little of the first 2 imports, so it's hard to make comment. But Larry Abney, I think, was one of those players that relied on his athleticism. And I think it's going to take him a little bit of time. The jury's still out on whether he's going to be the impact player that they need. But certainly Gary Irvin's just a sensation. And even what we've seen so far of him, although his points are down on a couple of years ago, I think there's no doubt that he is a quality pickup. In fact, in the off-season, I don't know of a club, perhaps maybe the Perth Wildcats and the New Zealand Breakers, I don't know any of the other 6 clubs that weren't rumoured to be trying to get Gary Irvin.
Well, you'd at least have him in the conversation, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And look, I was just going to say, in terms of Abney, just to quantify where he's at, he's averaging 15 minutes a game, and he's only averaging 2.5 points a game on 23% shooting, 3.5 rebounds, which is way, way down from when he was with the Crocs the first time, which was 4 or 5 years ago now. He was averaging 20.7 and 10.2 over those 2 seasons. So Larry Abney's certainly not the Larry Abney of old.
And the last question, Grantley, Stephen Ross, what has he got for us?
Stephen Ross says that it may seem petty. Well, this is right up your alley. But the timeout on the floor rule, why not bring it back?
I like the rule. I do like the rule. There's so many times during a game when a coach is trying to have an impact. A coach is there and there's no stop of play. The game can get away from a team without having that opportunity to call a timeout. So I do like the rule. However, it was decided a couple of years ago that we were going to adopt FIBA rules. And I think that to be trying to change that midstream or sort of come up with a hybrid type set of rules for us, I'm not sure that's in our best interest either. So I reckon you've got pretty much internationally these days, you've got NBA rules and you've got FIBA rules. And here in the NBL, we've decided to go with the FIBA rules.
I can't believe you like that timeout on the fly.
I do like the timeout on the fly.
I think it is the greatest pile of garbage in the history of basketball.
Well,
how many times have you seen guys get bailed out, they get double teamed? No, cop it. You dribbled into the bad situation, now you get yourself out of it.
But you
wait for the stoppage, call the timeout.
You're burning a timeout. I think it's more.
No.
I put my coach's hat on now and say that
That's
there
a
are
big
times.
hat.
It is a big hat, but I put it on, and there are times when coaches want to have an impact and they want to be able to have a say in what's happening on the floor.
I understand that.
And there are times when there are no stoppages of play and it can get away from you. So I liked the timeout and the floor rule, and I like the fact that it's a judgment call that sometimes you have to make. That
it's not like the coach can't get a message out across the floor. It's not like he's got to run from the grandstand down to the sideline. He's right there.
Well, beg to differ, but certainly in the United States, in both the college and the NBA, they allow that rule.
Hate it.
Well, Grantley, I guess we'll beg to differ on that one. But it's now time to pick a winner of those 3 questions. And there were many, many questions. And don't forget, next week, jump on Facebook page or Twitter to hit us with any questions you might have. Who is going to be the winner of the NBL TV subscription?
I think the NBL TV subscription should go to Dave Criddle, who asked about the Crocs. Would they have been better with the 2 imports they sacked before going with Irvin and Abney. Like a little bit of controversy.
I like that. Well done, Dave. Dave, your whole world has changed because you now have access to every single NBL game that goes on this season via NBL TV. Get out there and subscribe.
Are you on NBL TV?
I am on NBL TV, and I watch the...
Does it come with a mute button?
No, I'm not commentating on NBL TV. I am just watching.
Oh, you've got NBL TV.
I have got it, and I love it. Love it. You can't get enough of it, in fact. Grantley, to check out all the score, stats, news and information, go to nbl.com.au and follow the action on 1, 10 and, of course, NBL TV. You can also follow the NBL players on Twitter and Facebook. Grantley Bernard, Andrew Gaze 10. That's all we have time for in Ticket Off. Don't forget to check back with us later on the week where we preview what's coming up in round 5. Until then, we need to thank our sponsors, and all starts with our naming rights sponsor of the NBL, iNet.
Connect better.
10.
And 1.
Spalding.
And fuck.
Virgin Australia. Been another cracking performance by you, Grantley Bernard. We look forward to your company next week on the #1 podcast for the iNet NBL in the world, and it's called It Goes Off.